And hello and welcome to another edition of What's Up Radio. Ryan Belmore here with you. Now that we're over Thanksgiving and through the holiday, hope you all had a great holiday. We are back and we'll be bringing you some great interviews on a more regular basis. On this edition of What's Up Radio, the voters spoke on November 6th and elected their new city council. Of course, that council is Jean Marie Napolitano, Jamie Bova, Susan Taylor, and Justin McLaughlin. Angela McCallow will represent Ward 1, Lynn Segley will represent Ward 2, and Kate Leonard is back to represent Ward 3. Voters chose their new city council, and now the city council has spoken and chosen their new chairwoman and mayor. Jamie Bova will become Newport's next mayor this Saturday, December 1st, and the City of Newport City Council-elect, as well as the school committee, invite the public to join them for their joint inauguration ceremony on Saturday, December 1st at 12 p.m. at the Rogers High School Auditorium. There'll be a reception immediately following at the rotunda outside of the auditorium. We caught up with Jamie Bova, and here's what she had to say.
With this Saturday, I got a press release earlier today from City of Newport. Tom Shevlin, the communications manager, and Newport City Council-elect and School Committee-elect are inviting the public to their joint inauguration ceremony Saturday, December 1st, 12 p.m. at Rogers High School Auditorium. There'll be a reception immediately following in the rotunda outside of the auditorium. And you have indicated, and it's been reported widely, that you have set up the votes to be appointed the next, I guess, chairwoman or mayor of Newport. And just talk to me about that process.
Yeah, so we had the caucus last week to have the unofficial vote for who the council was choosing for their chair. According to the city charter, that's the council-elect chooses their chair and their vice chair. And that process, it basically comes down to who the council wants to lead them over the next 2 years, and how it is chosen is via the caucus. And people, whoever feels that they have the votes, can call the caucus, and there's discussion, and people vote based on who they say they're voting, based on who they support, and then on December 1st is the actual official vote, because that's when the swearing-in is based on, again, the charter dictates that we start each new term on December 1st.
Excellent. So Newport School Committee as well as Newport City Council-elect will be starting December 1st, first meeting December 12th for City Council, and off the top of my head, December 11th for School Committee. There's been a lot of to-do and drama kind of around it. Just wondering, at what point were you interested in becoming the chairman mayor? Was it after the election when your colleagues expressed support for you, or was it last term when was it when you were running for your election? But when were you interested in seeing if you can garner the support?
Well, after the election, multiple of my fellow councilors-elect approached me to talk about their desire to see me in a leadership position. And I started thinking about that and what that could look like. And that's kind of how it started. Was really post-election night was when I started thinking about it. It was important to me, that we had the opportunity to start the new term and work with the new councilors.
Excellent. And there's been a lot of talk about it. It's a top vote getter and this and that. As Newport this week pointed out, only 2 of the last 5 top vote getters have actually become the mayor. There's been talks on things like next door by voters of should the charter be changed? Should the chairman be changed? Should the way we appoint a mayor be changed? Are you feeling that, you will look at any kind of charter review, or you'll look at, or are your colleagues on the council thinking of changing anything in there where we have a definite, so there isn't all of this, whatever you want to call it, after the election?
Yeah, I mean, I think it is sort of an unclear process for a lot of people, and I think a charter review would be a great idea. I think charter reviews are an important and healthy way for people in the city, residents, to have the opportunity to really directly impact the way the city is run. And I don't know what would come out of a charter review. I know that a lot of people have very strong feelings for and against how the mayoral process takes place. So, but I think a charter review would be great. I think that they really help keep the city in tune with what people want and how they want the city to be run. The charter is really the backbone of our government.
Yeah, obviously that's been the one that's been on everybody's minds lately. But have there been other things that have come up during your last term that you would think would be reviewed during a charter review?
I don't know that I can think of anything that would need to get anything else.
So,
but I mean, once you dig in there, I think you really start to find stuff. And I know that most of the charter reviews have generally come up with some really good recommendations and alternatives. But off the top of my head, I can't think of what else folks would dig into. But I'm sure that that people would find something. It's like I said, it's a kind of unique opportunity every few years for people to have a real say in how the city is run.
Absolutely. Of course, before we look forward to the Saturday and the inauguration as well as the appointment, we can look back a little bit, and obviously anybody that serves in public office, Marco Camacho will be stepping down from the council. He was not reelected, as well as current mayor for at least the next couple of days, Mayor Winthrop. And he has served the community for many years as mayor as well as a councilor. And just some thoughts on those two moving on from Newport City Council.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I have so much respect for everyone that takes the opportunity to step up and serve on council and run. It is a big job and it's a hard job, but it's super important, and it is, it has a big impact on your life. And so I have so much respect for people who do that and who do it for such a long time. And I think that our city always owes a debt of gratitude for everyone who runs. And I enjoyed serving with both Marco and Terry, and I think it's like I said, I think it's so important that we recognize and say thank you to people who choose to run and both run and serve. It's a big impact on your life, and it really shows a dedication and a commitment to the city.
Absolutely, and I would agree with you, and certainly have had differences with probably every council member at some point when I'm asking a question, but anybody that has
we're all human, right?
Time and hundreds of hours, my hat's off to Harry Winthrop as well as Marco Camacho, as well as the school committee members who are moving on. And it's just, it is a huge commitment. And I guess while we're there for a moment, talk about how you're going to balance the role as the mayor, and maybe you could just talk about the role as a mayor for a moment, and also as having a full-time job, how you plan on doing that.
Yeah, I mean, when I explain to people, especially, some of my family, what this new role means and what I'm taking on, I explain that so much of the role is being the chair of the council. It's having the opportunity to set the tone for meetings, and that's, to me, such an important part of it. But then there is also that ceremonial aspect that means a lot to a lot of people, and really is an opportunity for people and organizations in Newport to have a light shown on them when they have various ceremonies or celebrations that the city gets to take part in. And often that part of the city taking part in that is the chair attending those celebrations and being a part of them. I think that, similar to how I've balanced being on the council and working full time, it will be constantly evaluating my calendar, and it will be a balance. But I, especially with the chair role and with the council, it's not setting any precedents to have a working chair. We've had multiple, and we've had, I will be the third chair that works for NUIC, actually, the Naval Undersea Warfare Center where I work now. So it's a little bit funny continuing on that tradition unexpectedly.
That is pretty funny. I was trying to look it up, Jamie, and I'm sorry to put you on the spot. Do you know what number mayor you'll be?
I don't. I should look it up to know that, but I don't know what number mayor I will be.
I could not find that information easily just with a quick Google search, but I was trying to figure that out. You mentioned the full-time
I can take a note and let you know.
Yeah, I'm a statistics guy, number guy, and I was just trying to figure out what number in Newport's history, obviously a long history, and there's some lists out there.
Quite a few.
I'm not sure if it's accurate. It's funny that you talk about full-time. I was speaking with Senator Lou DePalma, who works for Raytheon, the other day.
Oh, yeah, Lou and I have commiserated before.
Yeah, it was just kind of talking about his position, how he does the full-time position at Raytheon as an engineer, as well as a senator for the state of Rhode Island. And it can certainly be done, and none of these positions, I believe, were made to be full-time. Otherwise, they would pay a full-time salary. They're meant to kind of do on a part-time basis, in my opinion.
Yeah, and I agree. And I think I think having a working mayor, I think showing that someone can be this engaged as to be the chair of the council and be working full-time shows that it's worth it to be engaged, that it's doable. I think that sometimes people get a little intimidating to get more engaged in their city government, whether, it's not even talking about running, just serving on a board or working on other projects. And I think showing that it can be done to work full-time and be a chair, and also that it's important enough to me, and I feel like it's important enough that I choose to do both, will, I hope, encourage people.
Absolutely. And, this was your second election. While you were going door to door, because I know you do it, I follow you on social media and see that you were knocking. Do you feel that people are more engaged in the city?
I mean, I felt like people were a little bit more engaged, but I also, whenever I knock on people's doors and they answer, people are usually really excited and happy to talk to me, whether or not they know who I am. They're just happy that there's someone asking them about things. So it maybe is self-selecting that the people I end up talking with are engaged because they're the ones who come to the door willingly, but...
Yeah, absolutely. And, there is, a lot to be said. You are on Justin McLaughlin is the lone male on Newport City Council now. You have some powerful and strong women serving alongside of you. It's going to be an exciting 2 years with the Newport City Council.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. We have I will say everyone on the council is dedicated and passionate and cares so much about the future of Newport. And I think this is the first time that we will have 6 women. We were a majority female council this past term, but to go all the way up to 6 women is really, I think it's the first time, and I think it's wonderful.
Now, in a letter to the editor, let's see here, back on November 16th, one of the things you pointed out is that you will strive to lead above and beyond the way it's always been done. Talk about, how you plan on being the chair of the council, how you plan on leading, and what we can look forward to with under your leadership.
Yeah, I mean, something that I've really spoken a lot about and cared a lot about and made a priority for myself since day one on the council and even, really during my first campaign was the idea of transparency and really in clarity. And that's both in process and in decision making. And what I really want to do is I want to make people feel engaged and represented in their government. And I want them to feel that their government is approachable and that it's not intimidating